Hi, I'm Chandler. I never expected to come home from university to find my entire life turned upside down. The small Victorian house my grandmother left me was now occupied by strangers. A young couple stood on my porch as I marched up the walkway, suitcase in tow. Can we help you? The woman asked, adjusting her glasses. This is my house, I said, my voice shaking. Where are my parents? What's going on? The man stepped forward. We bought this place 3 weeks ago from a middle-aged couple. They said it was their investment property. That's impossible. This house belongs to me. My grandmother left it to me in her will. We have all the paperwork, the woman said gently. We closed through Lakeside Realty. Where are my things? All my belongings were inside. My voice rose with panic. The house was empty when we took possession, the man explained. Except for some boxes in the garage the sellers said they'd come back for. I called Maya, my best friend since elementary school. Maya, it's Chandler. Someone's living in my house, the one Nana left me. What? Slow down, Chan. Where are you? I'm standing outside my house with the new owners. My parents sold it. They had no right. Stay there. I'm coming to get you. When Maya arrived, she suggested we talk to Mr. Finley across the street. Chandler, the elderly man greeted me. When did you get back? Such a shame what happened. Mr. Finley, do you know what my parents did with my things? I asked, desperately. He frowned. It wasn't right what they did. They had a dumpster delivered. Whatever didn't fit, they left piled on the curb. They threw away my things? Everything? Not everything. I rescued what I could. Your photo albums, your grandmother's recipes, some jewelry. It's in my garage. Your parents were arguing while they did it, Mr. Finley continued. Your mother was calling the shots. Your father just following orders. Did they say why? Your mother kept saying they needed the money for their condo in Florida. Said you were ungrateful living in her mother's house while they struggled. Do you know where they are now? Maya asked. Left for Sarasota last week. Your mother was quite proud of their new beachfront property. They sold my house to buy a condo in Florida? I've got some pictures, Mr. Finley said, showing us photos of my parents supervising workers throwing my belongings into a dumpster. That's grand theft, Maya whispered. The house was in your name, right? Yes. Nana left it to me directly. It wasn't even in my parents' names to sell. Maya's eyes hardened. Then we're going to my cousin Eliza. She's an attorney. This is fraud, Chandler. As we drove away, I took one last look at my grandmother's house and felt something shift from shock to resolve. They can't get away with this, I said quietly. They won't, Maya promised. They absolutely won't. Real estate fraud is straightforward, Eliza explained, reviewing documents spread across her desk. Your grandmother's will is clear. The house was left solely to you. Your parents had no legal right to sell it. But they did, I said. How? Forged documents, most likely. The sale would require your signature, or someone pretending to be you. What about my things? That's theft and destruction of property. We'll add it to the civil suit. First, we need to build our case. Who else knew about your situation? My grandmother's attorney, Mr. Donovan. He handled the will when she died. Perfect. Anyone else who knew the house belonged to you? Maya leaned forward. The neighbors, especially Mr. Finley. He's already given us photos. Excellent. When did you last speak with your parents? About a month ago. My mom called asking if I'd considered helping them out by selling the house. I told her no. That house is my home and Nana wanted me to have it. She hung up. And your father? He texted saying Mom was just stressed about retirement and to ignore her. He always runs interference for her. Classic enabler, Maya muttered. Eliza's phone rang. She answered, then hung up with a satisfied smile. The sale documents just came in. Want to see your signature? She slid a paper across the desk. There, on the dotted line, was a crude approximation of my handwriting. That's not even close to how I sign my name, I whispered, anger rising. Exactly. This is textbook fraud. We'll need a statement from you. Every detail about your conversations with your parents, the ownership of the house, everything. What about the couple living there now? Maya asked. They're innocent parties, but unfortunately, they'll likely lose the house. The sale was fraudulent. They'll have recourse against your parents and the realty company, but the house legally belongs to Chandler. My phone buzzed. It's my dad. They're back in town to collect some things. They want to meet for dinner. Eliza and Maya exchanged glances. This is perfect, Eliza said. We've been trying to locate them to serve papers. Are you up for seeing them? I don't know if I can face them without losing it, I admitted. If you do meet them, wear this. She pulled out a small recording device. Virginia is a one-party consent state. You could record them confessing without telling them. Maya squeezed my hand. I'll go with you. It might be better if Chandler goes alone, Eliza suggested. Parents are more likely to speak freely without outsiders. My phone buzzed again. Mom and I miss you. Lots to catch up on. The Olive Garden at 7? I'll do it. I want to see their faces when I ask why they destroyed my life. Remember, Eliza cautioned, our goal is evidence. Let them talk. The more they say, the stronger our case. And after we have enough evidence? I asked. We file criminal charges for fraud and theft, plus a civil suit for damages. They're looking at possible jail time and significant financial penalties. Good, I said quietly. They need to understand what they've done. The Olive Garden was crowded when I arrived. I spotted my parents immediately. Mom checking her watch with annoyance, Dad scanning the entrance anxiously. I switched on Eliza's recording device in my pocket. Dad saw me first. Chandler, over here, sweetheart. I approached their table without returning his smile. Mom reached up for a hug, which I sidestepped, sliding into the booth across from them. You look tired, honey, Mom said. Is university working you too hard? I'm tired because I've been sleeping on Maya's couch, I replied evenly. Since I no longer have a home. A beat of silence fell. Dad suddenly became very interested in the menu while Mom's smile tightened. About the house, she began, her voice dropping. We were going to call you, but we knew you'd be difficult about it. Difficult about you selling my house and throwing away all my possessions? Keep your voice down, Mom hissed. You're making a scene. Janet, Dad mumbled. Maybe this wasn't. Shut up, Richard, Mom snapped before turning back to me. Chandler, that house was sitting empty while you were at school. It wasn't empty. My things were there. My life was there. And we needed the money for our retirement. Don't we deserve some comfort in our golden years? So you committed fraud? Forged my signature? Threw my photo albums and Nana's jewelry in a dumpster? Dad paled. We saved the important things. No, Mr. Finley did. He rescued what he could while you two were busy stealing from your own daughter. You're being dramatic, Mom said dismissively. It's just stuff, Chandler. The house wasn't stuff. It was mine, legally. Nana left it to me, not you. My mother never should have bypassed us in her will, Mom said bitterly. That house should have gone to me, her daughter, not her teenage granddaughter who couldn't even maintain it properly. I was maintaining it fine. I hired a lawn service. I had the plumbing updated last year. With what money? Mom scoffed. You're a student. With the money from renting out the spare bedroom, which I was doing legally, with proper contracts, unlike what you did. Dad shifted uncomfortably. Chandler, we know you're upset. Upset? I'm homeless. Everything I owned is gone. We put some money aside for you, Dad offered. From the sale, $10,000. I laughed incredulously. The house was worth over $300,000. We had expenses, Mom said defensively. Like your beachfront condo in Sarasota? Their surprised expressions confirmed Mr. Finley's information. You've been talking to the neighbors, Mom accused. Those nosy neighbors took pictures of you throwing my life away. Pictures the police will find very interesting. Dad's face drained of color. Police? Chandler, let's not be hasty. We're family. Family doesn't steal from each other. Family doesn't commit fraud. We did what was necessary, Mom insisted. And frankly, you're being ungrateful. We gave you everything growing up. And now you've taken it all away. Tell me, how exactly did you forge my signature on the sale documents? Mom glanced around nervously. Keep your voice down. Did you practice my handwriting? Or just scribble something and hope no one would check? This conversation is over, Mom declared, gathering her purse. I've already spoken to a lawyer. The sale was fraudulent. I'm taking back my house. Dad grabbed Mom's arm. Janet, wait. She's bluffing, Mom hissed. She doesn't have money for lawyers. I don't need money. My lawyer is taking the case on contingency because it's so clear-cut. She says you'll probably face criminal charges. Criminal? Dad sputtered. Chandler, please, we can work this out. I'm done working things out. You had no right to sell my house. Mom's face contorted with rage. Listen here, you ungrateful little... I have listened, for years, to your justifications and excuses. I stood up. Now it's your turn to listen. To my lawyers, to the police, and to the judge. As I turned to leave, Mom grabbed my wrist hard. If you do this, you're no longer our daughter. We will cut you off completely. I looked at her hand until she released me. You already threw away everything that connected us when you put my life in that dumpster. The courthouse hallway was all polished marble and hushed voices. I sat outside courtroom C, Maya on one side, Eliza on the other, watching the large oak doors. Are you ready for this? Maya asked, squeezing my hand. The doors opened and my parents emerged with their attorney, a harried-looking man in an expensive but rumpled suit. Mom's face was set in rigid indignation. Dad just looked defeated. Their lawyer approached us. Miss Williams, my clients would like to discuss a settlement before the judge makes his ruling. I think it's too late for that, Eliza replied coolly. The criminal charges have already been filed. The evidence is overwhelming. The criminal matter is separate. I'm talking about the civil suit. The house, the possessions. I want my house back, I said firmly. Dad approached hesitantly. Chandler, can we please talk about this? In private? There's nothing to say that can't be said in front of my attorney and my best friend. We made a mistake, he admitted, his voice breaking. We never meant to hurt you. You threw away my childhood photos, my grandmother's recipe cards, the quilt she made me. How was that not meant to hurt me? We saved some things, Mom interjected defensively. No, Mr. Finley saved what he could after you filled a dumpster with my life. We're your parents, Mom said, as if that explained everything. Everything we did was for this family. You sold my house to buy yourselves a beach condo. That wasn't for me. We're offering you 1/3 of the sale proceeds, Dad said desperately. That's $100,000, Chandler. I don't want another house. I want my house. The one Nana left specifically to me because she knew you couldn't be trusted with it. Mom's face flushed with anger. How dare you? Mrs. Richardson, Eliza cut in. I'd advise against making threats in the courthouse. Judge Harmon has already indicated his opinion on this case. Chandler, please, Dad tried again. We can make this right. You can't replace what you destroyed. Not my things, and certainly not my trust. The bailiff called our case number. Inside the courtroom, everything happened with surprising speed. The judge reviewed the evidence, including the recording from the Olive Garden and Mr. Finley's photographs. The court finds in favor of the plaintiff, Judge Harmon declared. The sale of the property is hereby nullified as fraudulent. The property is to be returned to its rightful owner, Chandler Richardson. He turned to my parents. Mr. and Mrs. Richardson, the criminal charges will be addressed in a separate hearing next month. Given the evidence, I strongly advise you to cooperate fully. Outside, Maya hugged me tightly. You did it. You got your house back. What about the couple living there now? I asked Eliza. They'll be compensated through the suit against the realty company. They've already found another property. And my parents? They're facing possible jail time, definitely probation, and substantial fines. Plus, they'll have to return most of the sale proceeds. Which means selling their fancy condo, Maya added with satisfaction. As we walked toward the parking lot, I spotted my parents. Mom was berating their lawyer while Dad stared blankly into space. Do you want to avoid them? Maya asked. No, I have one more thing to say. I approached them alone. Chandler, Dad began, stepping forward. I held up a hand to stop him. After the criminal proceedings are over, after you've paid back what you stole, I don't want to hear from either of you again. You can't mean that, Dad said. We're your parents. Parents protect their children. They don't steal from them. This is all a misunderstanding, Mom insisted, somehow still imperious. No, it's not. It's who you are. It took me 20 years to see it clearly. I turned to leave, then paused. One more thing. Nana was right about you both. That's why she left the house to me and not to you. I walked away then, back to where Maya and Eliza waited, feeling lighter with each step. You okay? Maya asked. No, I admitted, but I will be. 3 weeks later, I stood on the porch of my house, key in hand. The rooms were mostly empty, waiting to be filled again. What are you going to do now? Maya asked, sitting beside me on the porch swing. Finish my degree. Refill this house with new memories. I looked out at the quiet street, at Mr. Finley watering his garden. Start over. Without them? Without them, I confirmed. Some bridges stay burned. Do you think you made the right choice? Going through with everything, cutting them off? I considered this, watching the sunset paint the neighborhood in shades of gold. I think sometimes the people who should love you the most are the ones who hurt you worst, I said finally. And sometimes the only way forward is to leave them behind. Have you ever had to walk away from someone who was supposed to protect you? What would you have done in my shoes?